Hey everyone, welcome to Tony for Mother Guide Me. I mean Tony for you. Since the beginning of time, humans have revered the divine. Whether they be spirits, demons, or gods, every civilization held certain figures as paragons of virtue and worthy of devotion. On the flip side, where there is good, there is also evil to balance it out. Forces of nature that exist for nothing more than to cause pain and destruction. Chaos incarnate. Within Shin Megami Tensei V Vengeance exists a group of demons for such a chaos, known as the Qadistu, meaning sacred women, with their leader Lilith and high-ranking members Namah, Eisheth Zenunim, and Agrat Malat. They are the antagonistic main driving force to achieve your goals, lest the world be left to the devices of vengeful demons. Each coming from ancient Jewish mysticism, this all-female group of demons are very important in their own right. So let's dive into these demonic agents of chaos and learn more about them, to understand their roles as the antithesis of law and order. First up is the glorious leader of the Qadistu, Lilith. Coming from Abrahamic mythology, Lilith was believed to have been the first wife of Adam created by God in the Garden of Eden. Now, I've actually made an entire video on Lilith before, but I'll go over specifically her origins in Christian mythology. Within the biblical book of Genesis, God seems to have mentioned creating man and woman twice. Once in Genesis 1:26-27, where it states, "Then God said, Let us make mankind in our image, in our likeness, so that they may rule over the fish in the sea and the birds in the sky, over the livestock and all the wild animals, and over all the creatures that move along the ground." So God created mankind in his own image. In the image of God he created them. Male and female, he created them. Then once again in the very next chapter of Genesis, where it reads, "The Lord God said, It is not good for the man to be alone. I will make a helper suitable for him." So the man gave names to all the livestock, the birds in the sky, and the wild animals. But for Adam, no suitable helper was found. So the Lord God caused the man to fall into a deep sleep. And then, while he was sleeping, he took one of the man's ribs and then closed up the place with flesh. Then the Lord God made a woman from the rib he had taken out of the man. While this may easily have been explained as a non-chronological way of telling the creation myth of the Abrahamic God, many interpret these texts to be without fault. It's due to this belief of infallibility that led some religious scholars to develop some esoteric interpretations of the events. In the text Alphabet of Sirach, an anonymously written text dated back to 700 AD, they describe the story of the first woman. Due to God making male and female humans from the dirt at once, the first woman would not submit to the man's commands, the favored of the Lord, Adam. This first woman, known as Lilith, thought herself equal to the man, and it's interpreted that she would not be the submissive in the relationship. Eventually, this put her at a crossroads: submit to her husband Adam or leave the Garden of Eden forever. The woman would not allow herself to submit and rebelled against God, saying his true name before leaving the garden, which instantly transformed her beautiful form into that of a demon. Speaking God's true name in Jewish tradition was not to be done unless under extremely strict circumstances. For the first woman, it invited holy wrath upon her, which changed her physical form irrevocably. From this point on, she was dubbed Lilith, the creature of the night. Sometime later, God sent 3 angels to seek Lilith out, where they found her near the Red Sea. The angels beseeched the woman to return and rethink her decision, but Lilith remains defiant. During the argument between them, Lilith proposed a deal with the angels. "Leave me," she said. "I was created only to cause sickness to infants. If the infant is male, I have dominion over him for 8 days after his birth, and if female, for 20 days. This was the true extent of Lilith's hatred, resigning herself to snuffing out the young. Where once she was a human that could bring about the proliferation of new life, now she is a demon that destroys it. When the angels heard Lilith's words, they insisted she go back, but she swore to them by the name of the living and eternal God. "Whenever I see you or your names or your forms in an amulet, I will have no power over the infant." She also agreed to have 100 of her children die every day. Accordingly, every day 100 demons perish, and for the same reason, we write the angels' names on the amulets of young children. When Lilith sees their names, she remembers her oath, and the child recovers. For Lilith to take this deal insinuates the deluge of demons is unending, with many believing them to begin with her. Many believe that if she couldn't have a family in life as a human, she would make it her mission to be the mother of demons, to overthrow the rule of God with a burning hatred as powerful as a mother's love. In Shin Megami Tensei Vengeance, Lilith is portrayed as a tall woman with pink hair and a beautiful face. Unfortunately though, that's all that's beautiful about her. Her body is riddled with small holes, triggering trypophobia, and strange armor-like scales on her shoulders and knees, evoking a reptilian or truly demonic look. Lilith has an imposing red snake coiled around her, possibly as a reference to some texts claiming the snake that tempted Eve to eat the fruit of knowledge was truly Lilith in disguise. Learn more about that in my dedicated Lilith video though. Overall, an incredibly faithful design to the Queen of Demons, and worthy of being such a horrific group's leader. Next up is Naamah, the shape-shifting mother of demons. Within the Zohar, a foundational work of Kabbalistic or ancient Jewish mystic literature, Naamah is mentioned. Sometime after Lilith's descent into demonic tyranny, Adam and Eve are banished from the Garden of Eden as well for the consumption of the fruit of knowledge. Unlike Lilith before them, they were not cursed to demonhood and remained human, but still punished severely. The men would toil to work the land, and the women would suffer great pain in childbirth forevermore. Seeing that God's favored people had also fallen to temptation, Lilith set her eyes on the newly banished family. Among the demonic host Lilith helped create, it was believed succubi were her closest allies, and even among them, a being known as Naamah was her favorite. Naamah is difficult to describe. In lore, she takes many forms, sometimes that of a human, sometimes that of a demon, and even sometimes that of an angel. To mimic the visage of God's messengers would suggest great power, and due to this, she was chosen for the task of destroying the fallen family of Adam and Eve even further. Though Lilith did not act rashly, and did not aim to simply kill them, or even separate them in some way. Rather, she aimed for something much more insidious, much more long-term. She aimed to taint their entire bloodline, but for that, she had to wait. Adam and Eve had two sons, Cain and Abel, one a farmer and the other a shepherd. God looked favorably on the sacrifices of Abel, the shepherd, but time and time again rejected those of Cain, the farmer. As time went on, Cain became enraged at the seeming injustice and lured Abel into the forest one night. Taking advantage of his brother's trusting nature, Cain dashed Abel's head on the rocks, unceremoniously ending his life. The day after, God came down and spoke to Cain, asking him where his brother was. Cain responded, "Am I my brother's keeper?" To that, God was enraged, for he had known the truth all along, and Cain had sealed his fate with that lie. From then on, Cain was cursed to wander the world for all time, never truly having a home. For he had not seen the truth. It was not the offering that offended God, it was the evil Cain bore in his heart. Now an immortal soul with nothing but hatred and regret in his heart, Lilith and Naamah took the time to strike. Both taking on the visage of beautiful women, they lured Cain into bed, and with the seed of the damned willfully given, they created the plagues of mankind. These demons are said to cause permanent sickness in children that do not kill them, but truly make them suffer throughout life. One such example is epilepsy. Further delving into the Zohar belief system, author and theologian Raphael Patai writes in his book, The Hebrew Goddess, "She makes sport with the sons of man, and conceives from them through their dreams, from the male desire, and she attaches herself to them. She takes the desire and nothing more, and from that desire she conceives and brings forth all kinds of demons into the world. And those sons she bears from the men visit the women of humankind, who then conceive from them and give birth to spirits. And all of them go to the first, Lilith, and she brings them up." You may have noticed I assigned titles to these demons, Lilith being the queen of demons and Naamah being the mother of demons. Well, now you know why. Lilith raises the demonic brood in groups, culling the weak and training the strong, while Naamah not only taints the souls of man, but also provides a constant supply of newborn demons. Existing as truly unknowable entities, these beings may look like beautiful women and even serve the role of a mother and caretaker, but they hold no love in their hearts, only desire, rage, and sin. In SMT Vengeance, she is portrayed as a woman of many aspects. One half of her is a gorgeous pale woman with long flowing blonde hair, while the other is wholly demonic, with black wings, exposed teeth, and glowing red eyes. Referencing her ability to take many forms, she speaks like a temptress, but her true nature can't be ignored. With the game taking place as their plans are already well underway, it can be understood that this may be her true form, with a combination of beauty and demonic in an unholy mixture, true to what Lilith's offspring would look like. Really an amazing design. Now for the most outwardly terrifying looking member, Eisheth Zenunim. Eisheth Zenunim's name literally translates to Woman of Whoredom, and she is said to be the princess of the Qliphoth. In ancient Jewish mysticism, or Kabbalah, there exists the Tree of Life. This tree is foundational to their belief system and represents the aspects of the divine. Within the Tree of Life, there are 10 or sometimes 11 points called the Sfirot, each with different aspects of God's light, those being Keter, crown, Hokmah, wisdom, Binah, intelligence, Hesed, mercy, Gevurah, judgment, Tiferet, beauty, Nejah, endurance, Hod, majesty, Yesod, foundation, and Malkuth, kingdom. And on some diagrams there exists an 11th point on the tree, that being Da'at, meaning knowledge, the world we find ourselves in SMT Vengeance. Every Sfirot was said to have an angel assigned to them, truly exemplifying that aspect of divinity, with the likes of Metatron, Aniel, Kamael, and even Gabriel. Each of these points is immeasurably important to understanding the eminence of God, and was studied rigorously by the ancient Jews of the time. But this wisdom is not easily understood, and like anything worth truly understanding, many layers need to be pulled back. In this case, the Zohar states that it is a very literal layer, that being the Qliphoth, meaning peels or shells. These husks are the opposite of the Sfirot and represent the other side of the seeming divinity. Instead of angels assigned to each point, it's demons that twist the message of the holy wisdom of God, using it to tempt humans into enacting evil while believing they are still adhering to the tenets of the Lord. Instead of Gevurah, meaning strength, the Qliphoth twists it to Af, meaning anger, and instead of Tiferet, meaning balance and compassion, it twists it to wrath. There are also points such as Bohu, meaning void, Avon, meaning iniquity, and many more. The Qliphoth has demons representing each point such as Samael, Setanael, and even Lilith. But one of the most important demons ruling over these aspects is indeed Eisheth Zenunim. The woman of whoredom rules over the shell of Yesod, or the very foundation of the world. With her angelic counterpart being the Archangel Gabriel, she is especially powerful and influential in the realm of humans. Eisheth Zenunim represents all base and instinctual desire, aiming to stop humans from truly understanding the meaning of their life as God's children. Many, even to this day, believe all humans were meant to do in this world is mate, produce offspring, and die. Therein lies the truth of the belief of Qliphoth. Nothing in life is truly as it seems, and even simple ideas are impossibly hard to grasp and even harder to internalize. True understanding of God's kingdom requires you not to be just a simple animal, but something more. Learning what that is could take a lifetime. But it's our duty as humans to pierce the husk of the Qliphoth and truly see the splendor of the Tree of Life. Eisheth Zenunim in SMT Vengeance is portrayed as almost completely demonic with no attempts to hide her true nature. This, however, I believe to be a deliberate choice. With her being the demon of the Foundation, she must believe humans only want to mate. With extremely large breasts and long braided hair layered with gold, that may be all she needs to tempt the truly degenerate humans who believe their purpose is something so base. Her body is covered in odd geometric shapes, and her eyes are truly horrifying, but she knows that's not where you're looking. Remember guys, God is watching. Overall, a beautifully deep design. Lastly, the odd one out, Agrat bat Malat. Agrat and Malat are proper names in Hebrew, with bat meaning daughter, so her name translates to Agrat, daughter of Malat. This is the member of the group that brings them all together. Sadly, there's not much known about Agrat herself, but the most common belief comes from that of a Kabbalistic treatise by Nathan Nadaspira written in 1663. Ishmael was the first son of Abraham, to his mother Hagar. This woman was picked for Abraham by his wife Sarah, for she could not have children of her own. This was a problem, for they sought to fulfill the covenant with God that was established in Genesis. When Abraham slept with Hagar, she did indeed have a child, but over time, Sarah grew to hate the woman. Abraham, seeing things would not end well for the poor woman, begged her to flee his home and wait in the desert nearby. In her isolation, God appeared to her and said, "You are now pregnant, and you will give birth to a son. You shall name him Ishmael, for the Lord has heard of your misery." He will be a wild donkey of a man. His hand will be against everyone, and everyone's hand will be against him. And he will live in hostility towards all his brothers. When things calmed down, Hagar returned to Abraham's home and gave birth. The young boy, named Ishmael as God had willed it, lived with his father Abraham and his wife Sarah alongside his true mother Hagar for some time, until the birth of the prodigal son, Isaac. Abraham's wife Sarah was blessed with child from God well after she showed signs of infertility, and the covenant with God was truly fulfilled. Unfortunately, Sarah had no plan to share this inheritance with Hagar and Ishmael. One day, while Isaac and Ishmael were playing with one another, Sarah could not hold her tongue and demanded Hagar and Ishmael be sent away. Abraham truly did love Ishmael dearly and hesitated in the decision, but God did assure him before that Isaac was to be the true inheritor of the house of Abraham, so he was sent away. With that, Hagar was given a supply of bread and water to venture off into the unforgiving desert. With nowhere to go, the family would surely perish. Hagar could not bear to see her son die, so she sent him away. But God heard the cries of the young boy on the verge of withering away and sent an angel to speak with his mother. "What is the matter, Hagar? Do not be afraid. God has heard the boy crying as he lies there. Lift the boy up and take him by the hand, for I will make him into a great nation." Then God opened her eyes and she saw a well of water. So she went and filled the skin with water and gave the boy a drink. God was with the boy as he grew up. He lived in the desert and became an archer. Growing into a fine young man, Hagar arranged a marriage with the daughter of an Egyptian sorcerer named Kazdiel. Ishmael, not wanting to go against his mother, married the woman named Malat. Abraham disapproved greatly, however, seeing the arrangement as unholy, resigning to banishing his son's wife with child along with Hagar into the desert. This poor woman really can't catch a break. It's unknown what happened to Hagar, but being the daughter of a sorcerer, Malat met with the demon of the desert named Agrat and laid with him. In her desperation to survive, the demonic seed corrupted the child within her womb, and in their unholy union they engendered a child named Agrat, daughter of Malat. The unwanted daughter of the unwanted son, Agrat lives to get back at the world that produced her. The demoness Agrat was said to be the angel of sacred prostitution and fellow queen of demons alongside Lilith, Namah, and Eisheth Zenunim. Together, they would seduce and bring low the servants of God. Successfully debasing the likes of Archangel Samael and even the great King Solomon, this demonic group are a force to be reckoned with. Always staying close to her demonic sisters, with Lilith as her stand-in mother, on the eves of Wednesdays and Saturdays, she rides a chariot carrying 18 messengers of spiritual destruction, dancing on the roofs while her succubi family howls into the night. In SMT Vengeance, she is portrayed as a young-looking woman in a long black dress layered with gold, holding a parasol and wearing a stereotypical witch's hat. At first glance, she's just a cute girl, but looking deeper, she has some odd features. Her exposed skin looks almost mechanical, with long segmented doll-like features for feet, hands, and shoulder sockets, with her eyes being a deep blood red. Unlike others who either were once human and cursed like Lilith, always a demon like Namah and Eisheth, Agrat was a unique case. Her circumstances were very unfortunate. If only life had gone different, she may have been a normal girl living life with her mother and father in Egypt, but fate had other plans. Corrupted in the womb from her mother's embrace of demonic taint, she was twisted in her formation to be a demon, viewed as nothing more than a puppet to those around her. She clings to her siblings as a human child would, but her nature demands she commit evil upon this world. She is a being that tries to hide her nature, as she is the only clothed member of the Qadistu, but also holds to the tenets of their belief to her very core. She is complex, much like a human, but as cruel as any demon. One of my favorite new demon designs after learning about her backstory. Well, that covers the sacred women of the Qadistu. Let me know your favorite member in the comments down below, and while you're down there, leave a like and subscribe if you haven't already. Mine at first was Lilith, as she was the only one I knew a lot about before doing research, but after, Agrat bat Malat is definitely the best, with Eisheth Zenunim as a close second. Sorry Naamah. Special thanks to ZZZ, Andre Vinicius da Silva Valens, Arctic Mirror, Kalos, Kerhos, Jem Morales, Just a Middleman, Masker 2196, Matt M, Not Catchy, Patty123, Paul Torrio, The Digital Dutchman, VideoGamer75, Zeba Neba, and many more for supporting the channel on Patreon. If you'd like to support, check the link in the description below. Thanks for watching this demonic girl boss breakdown, and I'll see you in the next Tony for You. Have a good one.